I read in an agent's blog a few years ago that 99% of manuscripts that cross agents and publishers' desks are unpublishable. Now, I've heard this before, and I've heard it directly from publishers, I've heard it from agents, but what really got me with this particular blog was that 99%. I'd never seen it actually written as 99% before. And that really hit home with me, that the majority of what publishers and agents receive is not publishable. When I was in my early 20s, I decided that I wanted to write children's books. So I sat down and wrote children's books. And I wrote 2 and I sent them off to publishers. And they were both rejected. Now, I found out afterwards that I'd written a picture book which was 2,500 words long. There is no such thing. Picture books are a maximum of 1,000 words, but I didn't know that. So my manuscript would have been deemed unpublishable because there's no such thing as a picture book that's 2,500 words long. Publishers and booksellers like to have, genres. They like to have sort of holes they can put books into. And, so if you've written something that they don't know how to market, or they don't know what hole does that fit into, they'll say that, well, that's not publishable. Because what I explain to people is that there's a difference between writing a good book and writing one that's publishable. So the publishing industry has guidelines. They have genres. With children's books, they have categories. So I don't like to say they have rules, but they have definite guidelines, and that's why publishers will have their guidelines on their websites. And your manuscript needs to fit those guidelines. Doesn't matter if it's good. It can be fantastic, can be brilliant, but if it doesn't fit the guidelines, publishers will say, well, it's not publishable. We don't know what to do with it. You need to learn about the industry, and you need to write publishable books. So if you're not good at spelling and grammar, you need to learn that, or you need to pay someone to do it. If you don't know how to write a fantasy novel, if you don't know what the guidelines are, learn. You have to learn. You have no choice if you want a book published. You can self-publish if you don't want to follow publishers' guidelines. One of the things that Rob and I have found is that new writers, when I say new writers, I mean a writer, I suppose, that hasn't been published yet. A new writer tends to get really excited about their work and really enthusiastic about their work, and totally understandable, they send their work out. Now, the problem with that is, in their excitement and in their enthusiasm, they haven't let the work sit. They haven't come back and looked at it and had a second or third, look at it, even a fourth or a fifth. Work needs to sit for a while. You need to be able to develop fresh eyes. So in our experience, one of the reasons work isn't deemed publishable by publishers is because a writer hasn't done enough work on it. A writer has in their excitement and enthusiasm, sent the work to publishers too soon. Once I finished a draft of a manuscript, I tend to leave it for a couple of months, and just so that I can come back to it with fresh eyes.
Where do you get your ideas from?
I love that question. It's great. Well, let's see. Where do I get my ideas? I go to the idea vault. No, if only it was that easy. I'll use it, since I got the book nice and handy. I'll use Maya and the Crystal Skull as an example. This book actually is really a culmination of my lifetime. When I was a teenager, I became very interested in the ancient civilizations of Mesoamerica, the Maya and the Inca and the Aztecs. And I read a lot about them. I learned a lot about them. I was absolutely fascinated with them. I don't know why. Well, at the time I didn't know why, but I was absolutely fascinated by them, by these cultures. And then over time, as the years went on, I became interested in Other things like, for example, about 10 years ago, I became fascinated by mediumship and psychics and the idea of a spirit world. And so that sort of, you know, the paranormal and unexplained, which in a way sort of tends to drift over into the world of like quantum physics. We're learning a lot now in, I suppose, what could have been called unexplained in previous years with quantum physics. Now I became very interested in those sorts of things. Then one night Rob wanted to sit down and watch a documentary called The Mystery of the Crystal Skulls, and I thought, oh God, how awful. No offence to the documentary makers, sorry. But you know, I love Rob, so I sat down and watched this documentary with him. And what I didn't realise was that it was going to link back to the ancient Maya. And I just add another fascination to my list, the legend of the crystal skulls. So, and Rob just happened to have the book, The Mystery of the Crystal Skulls, here in our home, and he got that for me, and I read that, and I read more about the Mayan civilization. I just absorbed all this information, and while I was reading, I came up with bits of an idea for a story. So one of the places I think you get ideas from is like your own interests, your own fascinations. And then, of course, there's what you read and what you see on television. So that's one of the reasons I sort of explain through Maya and the Crystal Skull, because that gives you some ideas of, you get stories from your own life, you get stories from the things you're interested in, you get stories from television, newspapers, something perhaps your friends might talk about. There are lots of places, and sometimes things will just sit in you and brew for a while until they percolate into an idea.
What is the secret of your success?
Rob Parnell, of course. You can pay me for that one now. No, the secret of my success. Well, thank you very much for saying that I'm a success. So thank you very much, and I appreciate that. I guess that's also a bit subjective, and because, you know, I suppose sometimes I have to remind myself that people see me as a success, because to me, I'm still trying to get where I want to go. I'm still writing, I'm still trying to get books published, I'm still trying to sell books. So I don't necessarily see myself as a success. So it's very nice when people point it out to me. So thank you for that. Maybe that is part of my reason for success, is the fact that there is much more that I want. One of my ideas is that I want to actually be still writing when I'm in my 80s. Maybe then I might consider myself to be a success. I want to be in a position to be able to have a charitable foundation. So I'm still working towards success. I'm also in the position where my job is to write children's books and to promote children's books and to promote myself as an author and to help other people. And that's what I do, so I can concentrate 8 hours a day, sometimes 10, 12 hours a day on that. And really, to sum all that up, I suppose would be a really healthy obsession. I say it's healthy. But I have a passion, an obsession for children's books and for writing. It's all I want to do. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's my destiny. And that to me is my secret to success, is that this is all I want to do, and so I'm going to make sure that I'm able to do this. I don't want to do anything else, and I'm just still working towards more and more and more. There's commitment and discipline. It's those things. It's perseverance. It's the fact that I do this every day. And it's like, you know, because if you do something every day, you can't help be good at it. I think if I went out and I played tennis every day, I couldn't help but be good at it. If I went out and painted every day, I probably couldn't help but be good at that. So I think it's the fact that I do this every day, I just can't help but be good at it. I'm sure if I washed dishes every day, I'd be the best dishwasher in the world.
As it is, I'm the best dishwasher in the world.
That's right, Rob's the best dishwasher in the world.